How do you convince that their story is important? What makes a great story?
And the key to is keep moving.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Don't stop. The best speakers are the best listeners. That's the power of sharing your story so you can inspire people to create some new stories and not get stuck in the story that they're now sharing.
What is going on, everyone? We are here at Evan's Mastermind, and we got Les Brown in the building. He's right over there. I'm gonna have an opportunity to talk with him and ask him a few questions. Today's gonna be a good day. I'm so fortunate and so grateful, lucky, very appreciative of being in the right rooms, being invited in the right rooms. All right, guys, this is called taking the opportunity when it presents itself. Les Brown. Justin. It's a pleasure to meet you. Just full transparency, I have the camera set up over there because I'm a huge believer of taking opportunities and being in the right rooms and speaking to people like yourself to inspire others to be motivated. I have a mission to help others understand and recognize that your story matters, because I personally believe if everyone has the courage to tell their story, they will have the courage to want to change it. And the first time I've ever heard of you was your iconic speech. Nobody believed in you.
You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, it's not over until I win.
Well, the one in the Georgia Dome
Yes,
before 80,000
that was phenomenal. And when I started my entrepreneur journey, you were obviously one of the motivational speakers that came up. And I've been running my business for the past 2-3 years now.
What is your business?
I run a video production company, and that's how it started.
Where is it based?
Here in Toronto.
You ever come into the States?
I do, yeah, yes.
Okay. I want you to meet Corinne. This is Justin. He has a
Justin.
video production company.
Absolute pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I want you to videotape us. I want to do an interview with her
Let's do it today. We will do it.
today. Okay, thank you.
Would you want to do? Of course.
Yes. Okay. So
We got to do this.
gotta
We
talk.
got to do this.
Okay, so but I don't want you to do it like this. I want you and I to have an in-depth conversation. Can you set up your camera so we can sit down and talk?
Absolutely. What time? You have a keynote speech with Evan at 11:30 to 1. Would you be available afterwards?
Absolutely. I'm going to make myself available for you. I know who you are. I see you. I know when I'm in the presence of greatness. Okay? And so while we're here, we'll take advantage of this interview here. So that's great.
It's an honor. I'll let you enjoy your breakfast, and we'll chat soon.
You have made my breakfast. Like, I'm not even hungry anymore.
Shaking! Oh my God, what was that? It is very, very intimidating being in the presence of greatness.
I'm just cornbread. I'm in the presence of greatness. I called you for the interview because I see you. I know who you are. I know that you have a passion for serving people, making a difference in people's lives. I know that you like to be behind the camera, but now you're in front of the camera. So what question would you like to ask me?
So me and Evan, during our recording session with the mastermind team yesterday, we figured out what I truly want to be doing. And it all centers around having people recognize that their story matters. And we were battling the idea that I want to help people change their stories, but I also want to make sure people understand that their stories matter. And the one question that I have for you right now, because we're going to be pulling out a lot of strings here, how do you let people know that think their story's insignificant? Maybe a janitor, maybe workers at McDonald's, maybe like anyone that has like a regular 9-to-5 that wants to do more. How do you convince them that their story is important?
Continue to do what you're doing. You're saying to people, your story matters. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I know. I'm very young, but here's something that I've seen. That story you're sitting on, somebody is waiting on. There are some people that will identify with me because I'm young and I have this passion in my heart to help people to make a difference with my story. But there are some stories that you've gone through I have not gone through, and you've been here longer than me. And there are people who are struggling right now, and they need to be able to see themselves in somebody. They need some example of courage, some example of grace, some example of someone who took their pain and turned it into purpose. So your story matters. We live within the context of stories, and every time you speak, what you do is distract a person from their story of despair and angry and living a life of regrets to begin to step into their imagination and let them know that they have the power to not only share their story, but to let people know this is not the end of the story. You have the power to turn the page and create new stories. That's in all of us. That's the power of sharing your story so you can inspire people to create some new stories and not get stuck in the story that they're now sharing.
That was phenomenal, and I love that. I when I started my video production company, it was right after I realized I wanted to be a creative. When I was younger, I'll share some more context. I'd started creating content back in 2020, and I did so by wanting to tell stories. Back in 2021, I made a video called,
What inspired you to want to do that?
do you know a Toronto photographer by the name of Peter McKinnon?
No, I don't.
He's just this photographer out here. I had watched his content with shooting coffee B-rolls in slow-mo, and I was just inspired by the way he was able to capture the world through a camera. And like his daily vlogs and stuff like that, I was very inspired. So I got myself a camera, and I just started taking photos, which then transitioned into like going on adventures and making vlogs of my own. I love hikes, I love going through forests, I love waterfalls. Like, I chase adventure. So I started originally making videos just going out. And then I had a real estate team ask me if I could create content. Because this was when COVID happened, everything was moving online. So they asked me if I create content. I said, I can. At the point, I didn't. I was like, oh, I've never done it, but I can. So one thing led to another. I started posting more content about creating videos, and straight away from what inspired me to start this in the first place, which was creating genuine stories. And
Yes, but there's something else. You are the content. Because you're living a life like Helen Keller said. She said, life is either a daring adventure or it's boring.
yeah,
The things that you just described to me, the things that you love to do that just come second nature to you, most people don't think about those things. You decide that I want to make my life count. I want to experience life, that most people die way before they're buried. You've decided I'm not going to die an unlived life, and I'm going to spend my life not only creating special adventures, but capturing special moments that people can hold on to and understand the value of being in the present and living your life now.
yes, 100%. And on top of that, when I got into video creation, my thing is growing with others. I love being able to tell other people's stories on top of telling my own, because there's a quote by Model Oswald, which goes, I helped a man climb to the top of the mountain, and I then too found myself at the top of that mountain. And the reason why I resonate with that, I love that. The reason I resonate with that quote is because I want to be a clutch to others, because like you said, with Evan, we are built to serve. And right now it's practice. And I loved your practice and practice and practice. Practice makes what?
Improvement.
Improvement.
Yes.
And ever since I heard that, I've held on to that. And with just creating videos, that's what I started to do. When I realized I'm steering off in the wrong direction, I was getting distracted, because the thing that I was focusing on was just shooting videos and not telling a story, which leads to my next question. And I came up with this conclusion on my own with asking other people, but I want to ask you, what makes a great story?
I think when you tell a story strategically so people can see themselves in the story, and as a result of hearing that story, they see themselves differently, it expands their mind, it touches their heart, and as a result of your presence in delivering that story, they leave your presence feeling better about themselves, but talking about you and the impact you made in their lives with your story. Stories are for impact and to create transformation.
What you did with Evan was phenomenal. Up on that stage, you were really dissecting what everyone was saying, which I want to be able to do that.
The best speakers are the best listeners. Listen deeply to what people are saying and speak to them.
I want to run something by you really quick. I was having a coffee with a friend of mine, and I told him, and as humbly as I want to put this, I want to be one of the greats. I strive to be a great storyteller. And the main reason for that is if I can help people out in this world by telling them, hey, this is how your story should unfold. But it first starts by having them understand that their story matters. It's hand in hand with
process.
Yeah.
And what you're doing right now is so important. Is to study it, to know more than your story, to be the person that understands the value of self-awareness and self-mastery, and having a sense that I'm meant for more. Not just capturing stories, but living a story that makes a difference in people's lives. That's how you position yourself. That's what you're doing. How old are you?
26.
I'm 80. I'm 80-ish, okay? And so, therefore, the world is a better place because you have answered the call on your life. I feel honored to be in your presence.
Les, thank you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I have one last question, and this is just something that's been heavy on my heart as entrepreneurs, especially going through this world. And like I know it's one of those where it's like it's a grit thing, but do you have any actionable steps or things that I can do to relieve hardships when it comes to financially, when it comes to not feeling like I don't have enough time, when it feels like I'm getting distracted?
We all go through that. And the key to is keep moving.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Don't stop. Keep moving. Keep executing. Life is it's like a roller coaster. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes things go well, sometimes things don't go so well. Understand and know this too shall pass. Keep moving, and eventually you're going to hit pay dirt. Keep moving. Even a broke clock is right twice a day. Keep moving. Live full and to die empty.
I know I said last question, but I also I'm starting up this podcast called Into the Creative Mind. I'm 6 episodes deep, and I ask one question. Obviously, you being a storyteller, you being a motivational speaker, you in itself, you are a creator. And I have one question that I ask everyone. What does it mean to be creative?
To me, we were created by the Creator to create.
Amen.
To envision something that's in our imagination and make the commitment that we're going to manifest it, that's going to become our reality, and we want to share it with others. Visions and dreams and motions are perfumes and impact that the blind can see and the deaf can hear, because you're doing it out of a spirit of love.
That was a phenomenal answer. Les Brown, thank you so much for your time. I
appreciate it.
couldn't appreciate you more. Thank you so
I feel
much.
so honored to be in your presence. Thank you, sir.